Hi, my name is Chris Holton-Jablonski, and it is my great joy and privilege to serve you as your minister. This is True Love by David Whyte. There's a faith in loving fiercely the one who's rightfully yours, especially if you have waited years, and especially if part of you never believed you could deserve this loved and beckoning hand held out to you this way. I am thinking of faith now, and the testaments of loneliness, and what we feel we are worthy of in this world. Years ago, in the Hebrides, I remember an old man who would walk every morning on the gray stones to the shore of baying seals, who would press his hat to his chest in the blustering salt wind and say his prayer to the turbulent Jesus hidden in the water. And I think of the story of the storm and the people waking and seeing the distant yet familiar figure far across the water calling to them, and how we are all preparing for that abrupt waking and that calling and that moment when we have to say yes. Except it will not come so grandly, so biblically, but more subtly and intimately in the face of one you know you have to love. So that when we finally step out of the boat toward them, we find everything holds us and everything confirms our courage. And if you wanted to drown, you could, but you don't. Because finally, after all this struggle and all these years, you don't want to anymore. You've simply had enough of drowning, and you want to live, and you want to love. And you walk across any territory and any darkness, however fluid and however dangerous, to take the one hand and the one life you know belongs in yours. As some of you know, our beloved music director, Ian Garvey, was married last Sunday to his beloved Claire, and this beautiful poem was part of their ceremony. I love the image of the old man who would walk every morning on the gray stones to the shore of baying seals, who would press his hat to his chest in the blustering salt wind and say his prayer. This feels like us all in this moment, with this virus and these politics and all these personal challenges we are facing, with so many storms swirling, with so much wind. And somehow we are called to return to the water's edge and to pray, to return to the scene of the turmoil and the tumult, and to give voice to our deepest aspirations and convictions. And the beautiful thing is that when we do, when we refuse to be crushed by this moment, when we somehow find the strength to keep going on, to return again and again, as he says, when we finally step out of the boat, we find everything holds us. Everything confirms our courage. Throughout this whole ordeal, I have said to you over and over that you are held by this powerful love at the center of all we do and all we are at First Church, that you are held even in this distance, even in this strange time. And when we remember this, when we feel this, when we choose this, so much is possible. Life and love are possible. Resistance is possible. Creativity possible. I am so grateful to you all for the many ways that you show up for one another, for the vision and passion you embody, for the care and creativity and compassion you pour into First Church. As we begin this year, all of this will be called upon. This strange and stretching moment continues. We are not yet through the woods. And while we don't know the trajectory of the virus and we can't tell what the future holds, we do know this, that heavy things are lighter when we carry them together. At Ian's wedding, which was so beautiful, so good to see him there, speaking his vows to his beloved, so solid, so at ease. A bunch of us were witnessing the wedding ceremony by Zoom, and one of the little Zoom windows had little baby Simon. Some of you know our section leader, Irina Kareva, had just had a baby at the beginning of all of this, at the beginning of the time of isolation, little Simon. And seeing him there, squirming and climbing around on his mom, I was filled with joy. Partly because I love babies. My wife Lauren and I are in some ways lucky that we got started bringing other human beings into our family at a later age, because if we had started early, we probably would have just kept going. We so love little babies. But seeing him there, and especially as Ian and Claire were beginning their marriage to one another, I could feel this most basic piece of who we are as a community. One of the purposes of spiritual community is that we together divide our sorrows and multiply our joys. We are not facing this moment alone. I am here for you. You all are here for one another. As many of you have already seen, and as many of you will see in our virtual coffee hour every Sunday, there is something so beautiful and powerful to just seeing one another's faces, seeing so many boxes all filled with so many beautiful faces. We are connected. We are one. Even at a distance, perhaps especially at a distance. It has always been true that we are more than our physical proximity, and that is so clear now that that physical proximity is gone, but this connection remains, holding you, holding me, holding little Simon and Irina and Ian and Claire and each and every one of us. To be sure, this is a difficult time, but it is also an opportunity to remember what is most deeply true, that we are held and loved, connected to one another and to all life, now and always. So much love to you all. Amen.